This shield, this is a training shield provided by Tier Tactical here in Canada, and there's some with a viewport and some without. Both have pros and cons for sure. Obviously a viewport would be a little bit more optimal, but I want to share just a couple of nuggets of consideration. Say for example, a school setting, IRD, so immediate response, rapid deployment. We have an element of protection knowing that there's a barricaded killer inside of a structure. So say we got the intel that said second floor, last room on the right-hand side, there's a barricaded killer in there. We could use this as an element to compress that known area, and we can use this to provide exactly what it is, a shield. So consideration to think about without a viewport. Whoever is controlling the shield as the number one, for example, that's your job. So you won't necessarily have a gun in your hand. In fact, I'd encourage against it because you're going to have more solid control. And then because there's no viewport, being able to look in one direction provides an outlet for your shooter to be on the left-hand side. So you guys would work together. And picture someone's holding this shield. Actually, if you don't mind, just hold the shield for me. So job is to hold the shield, and it has two straps there to keep it nice and tight with the padding there. That's the forearm protection. Now, is this exposing the lower elements of the body? Yeah, of course it is. It's not a perfect solution, but the lower that we get, the better it's going to be. It's going to be a physical grind for sure, but what this does is it allows head to be on one side of the shield, and then me, who would be trying to get a gun into play, this is where I would most likely be on an off-shoulder position as we're compressing this area with the ability to shoot over the shield. Now, if you notice where my muzzle is right now in relation to where it is, this is where working in a team, his height, my height, we got to work with each other. So he may be in a squat position, and then I may be in a position where, remember I talked earlier about muzzle past flesh? This is why, right? So muzzle past flesh, I'm using the shield to still minimize how much I'm exposed, and we would communicate with each other. So, for an example, forward, 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 he's moving, I'm moving. If we needed to engage, stop or freeze. So freeze, if I engage, boom, boom, boom. Move would be his ability to now start moving. What we're trying to do is allow him to work the shield. That's his sole job, and us be proactive and move our feet. So A, we can be effective, but B, not impede his ability to compress down a hallway. Would this be lightning fast? No. Would this be a physical grind? Yes. Will this still be effective in terms of adding an element of protection between us? 100%. Good to go. So a little bit of off-shoulder shooting, depending on the environment. But the idea here is allow the shield guy to work the shield. He keeps his visual on one side of the shield, which means there's no surprise. If we do need to shoot, for example, he's not dropping his head on left and right, which makes it a little bit more difficult for the shooter. You guys want to try it out?
Yeah, I have a question though,
please.
quick, Randy. So when a guy's holding the shield up like that, obviously the shield's his priority. Are you gonna be resting to get that muzzle past flesh? Are you gonna be forearm on his back, or do you want to avoid that because he's holding up the shield?
Correct. You want to let him work independent and us work independent around him. And then also, if we get into a position of stability, for example, like using this piece to step on it, and then we could have our knee in this position, we would try to be as low as we possibly can so our buddy can still work around the shield. And then if we need to move, we communicate with each other. All right, get ready to move. He sets himself up, staying nice and low, and then we're literally working the problem together. Right, so staying nice and low. It's for the guys that are on the shield, man, it's a grind for sure. But it's a way that we can get closer to a barricaded attacker armed with a knife or a gun. A gun would be a little bit more problematic, I think, dealing with this than a knife, but still getting close enough that we have an element of protection between us.